Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gabriela Silva-Ponte.
And I'm Haley Sanksavan. Here are some of the stories we're following for you this morning from the On the Record newsroom. Liberal Party leader Mark Carney has officially called a federal election. The election campaign period will last for 36 days, with today being day 5. This is the shortest possible election under Elections Canada rules. Election day will be on April 28th. Carney, who currently doesn't have a seat in Parliament, will run in the Nepean riding in Ottawa. The major issues this election are shaping up to be the brewing trade war with the United States, affordability in housing and groceries, and national defense.
Police have identified the 16-year-old killed in a waterfront condo. Yonadab Dar was the victim in the fatal shooting. The 19-year-old suspect turned himself in to police the same day of the attack. Police say they were a friend of the teen. This Torontonian individual has since been charged with second-degree murder. Dar was found inside an apartment on the 49th floor of 12 York Street. The unit was an Airbnb rental. Toronto Police Service Detective Sergeant Mike Taylor said police was called to one of the ICE buildings just before 6 p.m. on Sunday. The victim was found with a gunshot wound. This marks Toronto's 6th homicide of 2025.
Big news in the fashion world as the Hudson's Bay Company has begun liquidating its assets at all but 6 of its stores across the country. One of the locations that is currently spared from liquidation is the Toronto flagship store on Yonge Street. The retail giant was established in 1670, making it the oldest corporation in Canada. According to a creditor protection filing from earlier in the month, they were facing financial difficulties due to issues including decreased foot traffic post-pandemic. They plan to wrap up the liquidation sales and vacate the spaces by the end of June.
The Toronto Transit Commission is increasing service on 14 bus routes. TTC interim CEO Greg Percy said this change will mean a 2.5-minute wait time decrease. Routes that will see a service increase from Monday to Friday include buses on Steeles and Finch. The 89 Weston, 944 Kipling South Express, 927 Highway 27 Express, and 984 Shepherd West Express will also be impacted. There will also be a 33% increase in daily subway service on Line 4 Shepherd, according to the transit agency. Mayor Olivia Chow joined the TTC in making the announcement on Tuesday. She stated that the transit agency's 2025 budget is funding, quote, more frequent, reliable, and affordable public transit that connects Torontonians to schools, jobs, and each other.
The 54th Juno Awards will be held this Sunday at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. Michael Bublé will be hosting the show. The most awarded Junos artist in Canadian history, Emma Murray, will be there in person to accept the Lifetime Achievement Award. Boy Wonder, a Grammy Award-winning Toronto-based producer and songwriter, will be honored with the International Achievement Award this year. Finally, rock band Sum 41 will be inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame during the show. As for the other categories, currently Josh Ross and Tate McRae are leading with 5 nominations each. You can find out who takes each prize home by watching the live show on March 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Mayor Olivia Chow is calling the proposed pay raise for Toronto councillors, quote, too steep. Council voted on the 25% staff recommended pay increase on Wednesday, though a decision has yet to be shared. This comes after the city's chief people officer, Mary Madigan Lee, recommended increasing the current base salary by around $33,000. This would cost the City of Toronto $950,000 in salaries and benefits just this year. The report further adds that councillors' salaries should continue to increase to remain in line with rising inflation. Chow stated she's not in favor of this, though her salary won't be affected. She told reporters Tuesday that, quote, these are hard economic times for everyone, and it's also uncertain times, uncertain because of the Trump tariff. Councillors Jamal Myers and Anthony Peruza have spoken out in favor of the increase. This raise would be the first for city councillors since 2006.
As Canadians head to the polls on April 28th, our team has been working hard to put together a special print edition for the federal election. Joining us today is OTR reporter Rex Astorga, who will tell you everything you need to know about our federal election print issue. Rex?
Thanks, Haley. Yes, the federal election is officially here, and we have a print issue to deliver for this federal election. It covers topics from digital news access to housing. Here are the stories our OTR team has prepared. Starting with the Online News Act, this federal election will be the first since Bill C-18 took effect in June 2023. As a result, Meta has banned news content from its platform, making it harder for Canadians to verify information they read online and impacting small local news outlets across the country. Climate policy will also play a role in this federal election. Canada aims to cut its greenhouse gas emissions below 2005 levels, but projection shows that Canada is currently below the target. The carbon tax has been a divisive issue among party leaders, and experts are calling for leaders to be creative to meet its climate targets. On the topic of AI, more Canadians are in favor of government regulation on social media, as AI-driven disinformation is affecting immigrant communities. Students of immigrant parents are expressing their concern about AI being used to deceive immigrants. In our print issue, we have a federal election explainer that further details the Canadian electoral process. In our current 44th Canadian Parliament, Liberals hold 153 seats, Conservative hold 120 seats, and NDP hold 24 seats, while other parties hold 36 seats. Expect more attack ads from political parties during the campaign, as they will be used to influence undecided or new voters. Gender representation in Parliament is also a key issue. In the 2021 federal election, only 30% of elected MPs were women, highlighting ongoing challenges in achieving gender parity. Defending Canadian sovereignty will be a defining issue in this election, as President Trump continues to make threats against Canada. Canadians have expressed their anger and have been shifting away from American-made products. Expect party leaders to focus on their campaign that aligns with economic independence and protecting national interests. Lastly, in our print issue is housing. It's still unaffordable as costs continue to rise even with the Liberal government in power for a decade. Experts are saying that the federal government isn't entirely to be blamed, as the province needs to be involved in the process. That's all you need to know about our print issue for this federal election. For the full story, please grab a copy of our issue, available in one of the stands around the campuses. Our print issue will be available on our website.
Thanks, Rex. Turning over to campus news. The Afghan Student Association hosted a night of advocacy for women in Afghanistan. OTR reporter Sidra Khan has more on this story.
The Afghan Student Association at Toronto Metropolitan University hosted a powerful event Tuesday evening, Hope Beyond Borders, a night of advocacy for Afghan women. The event took place in the SCC building at the Tecumseh Auditorium from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. With guest speakers shedding light on the current situation in Afghanistan, an art auction featuring handmade cultural art pieces and small jewelry pop-ups, the focus of the night was to inform students what life is like for women in Afghanistan since the Taliban came into power.
And it's an advocacy night for making sure that everyone around the globe knows about what's happening back in Afghanistan and the fact that we're on our 4th year of women being banned from pursuing education, employment, and really just having their basic rights being met, and so they're robbed of that.
Traditional Afghan food and refreshments were also provided for students to enjoy a meal together and break fast. During the raffle, students won prizes, and an art piece was auctioned for $325. There was a photo booth for students to capture memories, as well as a donation stand. Here's what the co-president of the ASA had to say about the event.
Well, my highlight of the night was seeing everyone show up. Everyone's presence and unity truly does make a difference, and it is a step towards change. And this event means everything to me. Of course, I can't directly relate to what's going on back home, but as an Afghan woman myself, I feel something for the women back home, and I think we have to speak up for them, and at least here, even though we're far away, try our best, take a step towards change.
With an entrance fee of just $10, this night brought people together to advocate for women in Afghanistan. For On the Record News, I'm Sidra Khan.
And if you're on campus today and looking for a quick bite to eat, the SLC is hosting a food market for student-run businesses. OTR reporter Emma Reynolds has more on the story.
The annual Taste of SLC is taking place this week in the amphitheater of the Student Learning Center, showcasing many student vendors looking to promote their products. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., students can visit the SLC and support student-run businesses. The event has several treats available for purchase, including hot chocolate, brownies, pastries, and more. Jen Tan, an SLC assistant and one of the event organizers, says the Taste of SLC is an annual event that has taken place for 3 years now.
The goal is to empower student vendors who are selling any of their food businesses to be able to have a space to sell for free.
Some of the vendors are established businesses, while others are taking part to raise money and awareness about social issues they are passionate about. Daniel Ramashov is a first-year engineering student and the man behind Conspiracy Chocolate, which sells hot chocolate and is aimed at promoting conversation about the ethical harvesting of coca.
We're hoping to raise money for charity also. 50% of our profits are going to One Tree Planted, and essentially for every dollar, that charity actually plants a tree, which we hope will reestablish the rainforests where the coca is gathered.
Nadia Emigbeto is a graphic design major at OCAD and runs Abide Bakery, a Christian-based baking business.
What really inspired it was just like my passion for baking and also just how it collides with my faith and just getting the opportunity to like really also share with people at the same time while like servicing them.
The last day of the event is today, so if you're on campus, stop by the Student Learning Center and support local businesses. For On the Record, I'm Emma Reynolds.
Last week has been full of sports, from our Toronto teams to the finals games of the university season. Here's Jasmin Murray with the latest in sports news.
Hi, I'm Jasmin Murray. This week, I have some exciting Toronto and TMU sports updates this year. Starting with our school, the TMU Bold men's hockey team played at the National University Cup in Ottawa this past weekend. They came fourth, which is the same result as their last two national appearances. The first quarterfinal game was the longest in the event's history, with 5 overtimes before Spencer Sugaru scored our winning goal. Unfortunately, we then lost the close semi-final game, putting us in the bronze medal match. That last game was full of emotion, seeing 2 of our players, Savard and Martin, sent off of the ice after multiple fights broke out. The game ended in a 4-1 loss for TMU after leaving an empty net to try and pick up more goals themselves. Our player, Joseph Ianello, did get awarded a tournament all-star after 4 assists during the tournament. It is a disappointing result to get again. Still, the team's ability to make it to nationals shows their hard work throughout the season. With spring training coming to an end, the Blue Jays are beginning the main season here this afternoon in Toronto. The next 4 days will have games against the Baltimore Orioles, another team in the American League East Division. The teams played against each other 3 times at training, with Orioles winning 2 of the games. All 3 were very close, and fans and experts are expecting wins from both sides this weekend. The first 2 F1 races have shown Canadian driver Lance Stroll in good form. He came 6th in the Australian Grand Prix, and at the China Grand Prix last weekend, he came 9th in both the sprint and the main race. This has put him 8th in the overall driver's standings. So far, he has outperformed his teammate, previous world champion Fernando Alonso, and improved on his own results from last year. We're looking forward to his next race in Japan on the 6th of April. And those are your sports updates for today. It has been an action-packed week, with more to look forward to coming up this weekend. Make sure to watch some games. But for now, back to Gabby and Haley in the newsroom. Next, we have an update on some big stories in entertainment and culture. From a legal dispute in the music world to exciting new productions, here's Zoha Naghar with more.
Good morning. I'm Zoha Naghar, and here is your latest entertainment update. The founder of Canadian Music Week, Neil Dixon, has taken legal action against the new owners of Departure Festival, accusing them of breaching their contract and failing to pay fees. Dixon is seeking more than $435,000 in damages. According to his Ontario court filing, Loft Entertainment and Oakview Group still owe nearly $379,000 from last December, along with an additional $56,000. Dixon claims the companies failed to uphold their side of the $2 million deal. Loft Entertainment, co-founded by music executive Randy Lennox, has responded, insisting the festival will proceed this year, with Lennox emphasizing their commitment to integrity. Dixon, however, insists he wants the money owed per the signed agreement. The inaugural Departure Festival kicks off on May 6th, featuring speakers like Tegan and Sarah, Max Kerman, and Bryan Adams. The popular Netflix drama Adolescence continues to make waves by changing how parents engage with their kids about social media. Executive producer Hannah Walters spoke to the BBC, sharing that the series has sparked open conversations between parents and children about the impact of social media on young people. Walters says she's received countless messages from grateful parents who've now started discussing these crucial topics with their kids. This series delves into issues like male rage and the influence of misogynistic online figures. Finally, a production has come to the TMU stage featuring 7 short plays by Russian playwright Anton Chekhov. Directed by guest artist Peter Pasek, the production will include titles like The Bear, The Dangers of Tobacco, and Swan Song, bringing to life some of Chekhov's most compelling work. The show runs from March 26th to April 4th at the Performance Studio Theater on Yonge Street. Tickets are now available for purchase. And that's all for today. Stay tuned for more updates next week. For On the Record, I'm Zoha Naghar. Back to you in the studio.
That's all for On the Record this March 27th, 2025. I'm Haley Sangsavan.
And I'm Gabriela Silva-Ponte.
Join us for On the Record next week as we round out the latest stories from the OTR newsroom.
For the latest 24/7, visit ontherecordnews.ca. On behalf of the entire On the Record team, thanks for watching. Have a great day.